George Washington once said, "Perseverance and spirit have done wonders in all ages," a statement that resonates profoundly when we delve into the life of this extraordinary man. Born in 1732, George Washington was a child of the colonial era, a time when the New World was still a vast, untamed wilderness, and the concept of an independent America was but a distant dream. This was a world ruled by monarchs and rigid societal norms, a world where your birth often determined your destiny. Yet in this world, a young Washington rose, guided by a steadfast commitment to his ideals and a relentless pursuit of liberty. He was a man who would defy odds, shatter expectations, and ultimately steer the course of history. His path was not without its challenges, nor his legacy without its controversies, but through it all, in the face of adversity, George Washington emerged to lead a burgeoning nation. George Washington wasn't born a president. His journey began on the battlefield. A young gentleman of Virginia, Washington's introduction to the crucible of war came during the French and Indian War in the mid-18th century. He served as an aide-de-camp to British General Edward Braddock and later commanded the Virginia Regiment the first time he would lead men in battle. His experiences during this conflict were instrumental in shaping him as a military leader. He learned the harsh realities of war, the importance of discipline, and the value of strategic planning. These lessons were not wasted, for they would serve him well in the years to come. Fast forward to the American Revolution, where Washington's true mettle as a warrior was put to the test. Appointed as the Commander-in-Chief of the Continental Army by the Second Continental Congress, Washington was tasked with an immense challenge. He was to lead a ragtag group of colonists against the might of the British Empire, the most powerful military force of the time. Despite the odds, Washington proved to be a remarkable leader. His strategic acumen, coupled with his unwavering resolve, turned a group of untrained militiamen into a formidable fighting force. His leadership was not just about winning battles, it was about inspiring his troops, instilling in them a sense of purpose, a belief in the cause they were fighting for: liberty. Washington's victories at Trenton and Princeton, his dogged persistence during the grueling winter at Valley Forge, and his triumphant success at Yorktown are testament to his military prowess. He was not just a commander, he was a beacon of hope for the fledgling nation. Equally important was the respect Washington commanded from his troops. His humility, integrity, and dedication to the cause endeared him to his men. He led not from the rear but from the front, sharing in their hardships and their triumphs. Washington's military prowess laid the foundation for his political career. His leadership on the battlefield translated into leadership in the political arena, setting the stage for his ascension as the first president of the United States. From the battlefield to the political arena, Washington's journey was far from over. As the dust settled on the Revolutionary War, a new challenge arose for our leading figure, George Washington. Now it was time for him to swap his military uniform for the attire of a statesman as he took on the mantle of the first president of the United States. Inaugurated in 1789, Washington, with his characteristic resolve, dedicated his presidency to fostering national unity. He was a unifier in a time of division, a beacon of stability amidst the uncertainty of a new nation. His leadership style was marked by a steadfast commitment to the young republic and its people, and he worked tirelessly to ensure that the United States stood strong and united in the face of internal disputes and external threats. Washington's presidency was not just about the here and now. He was setting the stage for future leaders, establishing precedents that would shape the office of the presidency for centuries to come. For instance, he carefully structured his cabinet to balance power among his advisors, a model that still holds today. He also made it a point to avoid the trappings of monarchy, showing the world that this new nation stood for democracy and not autocracy. Perhaps one of his most significant precedents was his voluntary departure from office after serving 2 terms. This act of stepping down after 8 years was a powerful statement of democratic principles. It was a testament to his belief in the importance of rotation in office, in the idea that no one person should hold too much power for too long. So Washington's legacy as a president is not just about what he did during his tenure, but also about the foundations he laid for future presidents and the nation at large. His name may be etched in history as the first president, but his impact goes far beyond that title. Washington's legacy as president continues to shape American politics to this day. Yet, like all historical figures, Washington's legacy is complex. Peeling back the layers of George Washington's life reveals a narrative that is not as straightforward as many might believe. As we delve into the more contentious aspects of his legacy, we confront a man who, while a beacon of liberty, was also a slave owner. It's a fact that can't be overlooked. Washington, the man who led a revolution for freedom, owned hundreds of slaves throughout his life. These individuals were bound to him, their lives tied to his prosperity. This stark contradiction paints a picture of the moral ambiguities that were rife during his time. The controversy doesn't end there. Rumors have circulated for centuries suggesting that Washington fathered children with some of his slaves. While these claims are steeped in speculation and lack concrete evidence, they have certainly added fuel to the debate surrounding his legacy. Historians have examined these allegations, but the truth remains shrouded in the mists of time. Some argue that these rumors were simply part of attempts to tarnish Washington's reputation, while others contend that they could hold some truth. However, without definitive proof, these remain part of the enigma that surrounds Washington's life. It's important to remember that our understanding of history is continually evolving. The George Washington of today's history books is not the same man revered by generations past. He was a man of his time, a time marked by moral complexities and contradictions. These complexities extend to the very core of Washington's legacy. His life was a jumble of paradoxes. A freedom fighter who owned slaves, a revered leader accused of fathering children with those he enslaved. As we reflect on Washington's life, we must grapple with these contradictions. We must acknowledge the man in his entirety, his triumphs, his failures, and the moral ambiguities that defined his era. Washington's life, while marked by great achievements, also reflects the moral complexities of his era. As we continue to explore his impact, we will delve into how he came to be immortalized on the $1 bill, a symbol of a nation he helped to shape. Despite these controversies, Washington's image graces our dollar bill. Let's dive into how this came to be. In the year 1869, a pivotal decision was made to place George Washington's portrait on the most widely circulated piece of currency in the United States, the $1 bill. This wasn't a decision made lightly. The face on our money represents the values and history of our nation. So why Washington? Well, his role as the first president of the United States set a precedent for all future leaders. He embodied the principle of a democratic leader, stepping down from power after 2 terms despite being offered a kingship. He held the young nation together, guiding it through its formative years and establishing many of the protocols that still govern the nation's political landscape today. His image on the dollar bill is a symbol of his integral role in the establishment and preservation of the United States. It's a nod to his leadership and the sacrifices he made for the nation. But it's also a reflection of his complex legacy, encompassing both his contributions and his controversies. Washington's portrait, painted by Gilbert Stuart, is a familiar sight to all who use American currency. It's a version of the Athenaeum portrait, one of the most celebrated images of Washington. The choice of this particular portrait further emphasizes the respect and reverence held for Washington. It's a dignified image showing Washington in his later years wise and serene. But remember, every time you pull out a dollar bill, you're not just looking at a piece of money. You're holding a piece of history, a symbol of the birth of a nation, and a reminder of the man who played a pivotal role in shaping the United States. As we use this currency every day, we carry a piece of Washington's legacy with us. His leadership, his courage, his vision for a democratic nation, his flaws, and his humanity are all encapsulated in that small piece of paper. Washington's portrait on our currency is a daily reminder of his impact on our nation. George Washington's influence extends far beyond the borders of the United States. His impact on global politics, democratic governance, and the shaping of the American identity is immeasurable. As the first leader of a new nation, Washington set a precedent of neutrality in international affairs. His farewell address of 1796, where he warned against permanent alliances with foreign nations, became a cornerstone of American foreign policy. This approach of strategic detachment allowed the fledgling United States to mature without getting embroiled in the power struggles of European monarchies. His policy of neutrality not only saved America from early entanglements, but also set a precedent for future leaders, reinforcing the idea that America was a unique entity, distinct from the old world. But Washington's influence went beyond politics. His leadership style, characterized by restraint, wisdom, and a deep sense of public duty, shaped the very identity of the American presidency. He rejected monarchical titles, choosing instead the more modest title of president, thus setting a democratic standard that would echo through the centuries. Washington's respect for the rule of law and his dedication to the principles of the Constitution, particularly the balance of powers, helped to forge a robust democratic framework that would withstand the test of time. He was the embodiment of the American spirit, resilient, principled, and committed to the cause of liberty. His influence, however, was not confined to the United States. As a beacon of democracy, the American experiment under Washington's leadership inspired movements for national self-determination and democratic governance across the globe. His life and leadership became a symbol of the possibility of a government of the people, by the people, for the people. In a sense, Washington was not just the father of the United States, he was a father figure to the modern democratic world. His leadership, his values, and his vision continue to shape our world today. Washington's legacy continues to reverberate around the world. George Washington's life is a testament to the complexities of history. This was a man who, from humble beginnings, rose to become the first president of the United States. His decisions and actions shaped the nation we know today. Yet, his legacy remains a topic of ongoing debate. He was a warrior, a statesman, and a slave owner. His image graces our currency, while his actions continue to raise questions about the ideals we hold as a nation. In our journey through history, it's important to remember that understanding the context is key. We should not see Washington as a hero or a villain, but as a man of his time navigating the uncharted waters of a budding nation. In the words of Washington himself, we should not look back unless it is to derive useful lessons from past errors and for the purpose of profiting by dearly bought experience. Thank you for joining us on this journey through George Washington's life. We've explored the dawn of a nation, the warrior, the president, the complicated legacy, and the lasting impact this iconic figure has had on society, politics, and the world. If you found our exploration intriguing, do give us a thumbs up. Share this video with friends and family who'd appreciate diving into the depths of history. We're just getting started. There are countless stories left to tell, countless lessons left to learn. Next time, we're delving into the life of another influential figure, Thomas Jefferson. We'll unravel his contributions, his controversies, and his enduring legacy. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and join us on this historical journey. Together, we'll uncover the stories that shaped our world. May God bless America. Thank you for watching.